mess we're about to get into right now.
Hello and welcome to a brand new preview episode for Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host, Jay. I'm here with my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
All right, guys, we're back. This is a preview to episode 210, The Harder They Fall. This is the Western, newly on Netflix, came out November 3rd. The logline for this is: gunning for revenge, outlaw Nat Love saddles up with his gang to take down his enemy, Rufus Buck, a ruthless crime boss who's just sprung out of prison. Look, this is starring every black person you like. Jonathan Majors, Idris Elba, Zazie Beetz, Regina King, Delroy Lindo, Lakeith Stanfield, R.J. Seiler, Danielle Deadweiler, Eddie Gathagi, and Dion Cole. Look, if you can't find somebody in this cast, a black person in this cast that you don't like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's got like all of my favorite black people in Hollywood for the most part in this movie. Like, the fact that it doesn't have Yahya Abdul-Mateen, and what's the other dude from Candyman? I can't remember.
Coleman Domingo.
Yeah, Coleman Domingo. The fact that those two dudes are not in this is the biggest shock of this movie. But yeah, look, this is on Netflix. You can watch it there. It looks like a fun Western. These apparently are real people, which will be interesting. I think we'll do some research about this actual story, if this story is relatively real, before we come back next week to talk about it. But they are based on real people, which is kind of interesting. I thought the trailer was pretty dope. I think I share Micah's one fear of this movie is that the entire soundtrack throughout the entire movie is rap music instead of a score.
I really hope not. I really hope not. That Madam C.J. Walker thing, I would have watched it, but they were fucking using contemporary hip hop, and I just it didn't work.
I'm not a fan.
It took me right out of it.
Yeah, because it can be overbearing sometimes. I agree with you. There is a soundtrack that Jay-Z's kind of all over. He produced this. He co-produced this movie. So he's all over the soundtrack as well, which is interesting. But I haven't seen a word if there's a score. So honestly, I have not looked it up because I'd like to be pleasantly surprised and or disappointed at the same time. But I think the movie looks pretty fun otherwise. So check out The Harder They Fall on Netflix streaming right now, and we will come back next week to talk about it. Random topic of the week. Let's talk about why it is so incredibly easy to scare white people. I know what you're thinking. That's a topic you guys have talked about before, probably, right? But this is specifically about the election that was last night, November 2nd, and really specifically the Virginia election for governor, right, between Terry McAuliffe and Glenn Youngkin. Terry McAuliffe, the Democrat, Glenn Youngkin, the Republican. Republicans decided to run a campaign based on they're going to teach us your white kids critical race theory. We don't know what critical race theory is, but you should be scared. And you don't know what it is either, but like just be scared about it. And Terry McAuliffe was like, I'm going to run a regular race where I talk about policy. And Terry McAuliffe lost. And he lost not by like 10 points or anything, but he should have won because it's a Democrat plus 10 state, right? At this point, Virginia is. But the big readout from this is that white people overwhelmingly supported Youngkin as a Republican in the fashion that they always do. And this is a tweet I saw. It says white women voted for Trump in 2016 by 53%. And by 55% in 2020. Last night, they voted for Youngkin at 57%. That should tell you that they are not allies. Why is it so easy to scare white people into being anti-progress in this country? Do you have any thoughts, Micah? I'm sure you have one or two.
It's easy. We spook them. That's why they call us spooks.
Very good.
No, they know how to play the game, man, which is they're playing a culture war. And if it's one thing that our cousins on the other side of the aisle, they love to play it because they're so good. They're really good at the culture war, and they're really good at. Whereas I, if you have to label me, I'm center left.
Okay.
I'm one of those, evil center left people that like is willing to listen to the other side, but like then I hear it and I'm like, no, I'm gonna stay over here, right? But I'm not like so far to the left. I don't know if I would consider myself progressive. I mean, I like to think I am, but I don't like the label that brings.
Sure.
So they know how to play the culture war, whereas people on our side, they don't. It's like they are trolling, and we are falling for it every single time.
Yeah, that seems about right.
And sometimes they don't even have to do anything. Sometimes it's all us.
Yeah, that's also correct.
We don't know how to play this game. And it's funny because like you can scare white people on the right with the culture war and with misinformation and disinformation. Like it's easy to do. But those of us on the left were so up our own ass about how smart we are and how much smarter we are than them that we get in our own way. Yeah. And we scare ourselves. And it's not even the people up at the top who are scaring, right? Us, right? Like at least on the right, like they're being manipulated like puppets, right? Whereas we are being manipulated like lemmings. And
that's a very good analogy.
It's just, yeah, man, like it's so odd. And at the center of it is the majority. The majority in terms of race. And it's white people. Like, I'm not here to blame white people for shit, but like, yo, this is your fault, yo. Like, a lot of it is your fault.
I'm not here to blame you. This is your fault.
because it's and I don't know what to do, right? Like, you talk to people and you I work in Northern Virginia, and where I work, it was a polling place. And you see all these people, and you see all of these signs all over the place. I saw a Glenn Youngkin sign out there. Somebody wrote, Trump's guy, right? Just to make sure that right? And lo and behold, I don't know the numbers from my specific area of Northern Virginia, but Virginia as a whole voted to elect this dude in. And it's not hard, right? Like, he's got a black female lieutenant governor who can reach who is older and she knows how to play the game. She knows how to reach older conservative black people. She knows just what to say to them to make them want to vote for Glenn Youngkin. Whereas on people on our side, we don't, like, we'll see those people, those older black conservative voters, and we'll just fucking we'll call them dumb.
Yeah, they largely get ignored, right?
Right. And I know I'm going all over the place because it's just, and I know that it's just wild to me, man. It's just wild. Look, individuals are smart, people are stupid. And
that's true.
And you can't, but the problem is you can't go to every single individual person. And when the hive mind starts to get spooked, it's like a snowball, man. And it's not, it's the worst. Technology is the internet is the best and worst invention ever, dude.
It is.
Like, yep. Because it's so easy. It's so easy to make a meme, even a shitty meme, dude, Like, you can make a shitty meme, send that to someone on the internet, and they will believe it. They will be, and it will scare them into thinking a certain way. And I think people are easily scared because, deep down they want somebody to take care of them. They don't want to have to think. Which is why you say it all the time, Republicans need a daddy.
Yep.
Yeah, they do. But yeah, they do. They need a daddy because it's not that people like being scared, but they like being comforted. And which is the opposite of being scared, right?
Right.
And I don't know, man. I don't know. You're the politics guy. You are way more eloquent about this topic. Nobody wants to hear what a dumb nigga thinks. They want to hear what they want to hear what you think.
No, I thought your points were actually pretty salient. What I would say is, why people are easily scared because they are told that this idea, right? Like, over the last number of months, they've been pushing, critical race theory. This is the big thing that's going to like ruin America or is going to ruin conservatives, is this idea of teaching kids critical race theory. One, they don't know what critical race theory is, right? Unless your kids are in law school, your kids are not being taught critical race theory.
I would argue most people don't know what critical race theory is, even though, you can just kind of infer through the context of those three words next to each other.
Right.
Most people don't.
Right. But most people don't realize like this is more of a law class than it is like just talking about race.
Yeah, they're not going into elementary schools saying, fucking white people are bad. Like, right. No, they're not doing that. Man.
They should, but they're not. And if I were governor of Virginia, that's what I would advocate for. No, but like, yeah, they're not obviously teaching that, right? So, or as I saw one white woman who was like clearly a Democrat was like, they're not teaching critical race theory in schools. They're just teaching history. Like, why are y'all mad about that? And it's like, right? It's like, hello, it's the kid from fucking TikTok, whatever his name is. I'm too lame to know anybody's name. But right, like you don't really need to teach critical race theory, just teach history. But it's easy to scare white people in that regard because they have been told, or they have been largely convinced, that progress means that they lose, right? In order for black people to quote unquote win, or minorities to win, white people have to lose. That's actually not reality, right? Like, equality isn't a pie where like there's only a finite amount of slices of said pie. No, that's not how equality works. Like, you just treat people equally and you give them all a chance. But the laws and the way American society is set up, it feels like they would lose because they are given an outsized advantage, right? White people are given an outsized advantage over minorities, specifically black people in this case. So yeah, they've been spooked by this idea of like critical race theory is gonna, like, you should be afraid of it because they're terrified of the idea that we would talk openly and honestly about American history, right? And what their ancestors did to our ancestors, right? Or are still doing. One could make a very obvious argument. So I'm not surprised. The idea that white women vote 53% for Trump in 2016, 55% in 2020, and then 57% for Youngkin. By the way, that doesn't mean it's really going up, right? Like, Youngkin is not the same as Trump, so like that's different, and the dynamics in Virginia are different than on a federal level. But it is worrying, and I guess it's not that surprising because white people are, especially white women, are really awful when it comes to taking advantage of flattening the system to try to give everybody an equal chance, and then not shutting the door behind themselves when it comes to opening that up for everyone. Like, a lot of people may not be aware of this, but white women are the number one benefactors to affirmative action, right? Like, yep. that wasn't designed for white women. Like, it was designed, like, when white people go, we need to get rid of affirmative action. I'm like, yo, your wife has a job in this corporate building because of that, right? Like, when white dudes say that shit, like, their wives are able to work in the same playing field that they are. Now, granted, it's 75 or 80 cents to the dollar that they make, but they're allowed to be there and they work their way through it because people of color fought for affirmative action. But then once they got in, they were like, we need to close this fucking door so no one else gets in. And that, to me, is my issue with this, like, 57% of, or 53% or whatever you want to call it, of white women who do this. But this is not just a white woman issue. This is a white people issue. White women are, I think, more egregious because, as Bill Burr would say, they take their Gucci booted foot and throw it over the line as if they're, they're these wildly progressive people, when it turns out that, more than half of them are really not. But I think they should be called out. And again, I'm not one of these people who's going to say all white women because I think that's silly, right? Like, but it is definitely the majority of them. I think you can absolutely say that, like, without argument. And that's a problem. I don't think you get to be a woman in this country or in this world who's been treated like dog shit by men from a sexist perspective, and then you don't understand what it's like for other people who are minorities. Like, you don't support black women? Why? Like, they're women too. Right. Like, right? What the fuck?
You choose not to.
You choose not to. You choose not to.
You choose to exclude them. Right? Like, and it's like that with a lot of marginalized people, which is why I don't understand why very prominent comedians don't understand that, right? Like, you're fighting the good fight by excluding the people that you are fighting that fight with.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Thus, you're throwing them into the same, like, in his case, you're throwing them into the same category of people that you're attacking.
Right. Like, yeah. I don't know, man.
Nuance is a hell of a thing, by the way. Like, it really helps. And I know, like, I know that people probably get pissed that I always make the distinction that it's not all white people, it's some white people. But when you don't make that distinction, when you just say all, the problem is you are allowing yourself to do what they do. Right?
Right.
They paint us all with one brush. Like, and I know, well, they paint us with one, so we should paint with them one. That's a childish behavior. Like, the problem is we have to be
That's not justice, yo. That's vengeance. That's not justice.
Right, exactly. Like, you have to, because look, we can't fix a problem that white people created on our own. White people got to fix that shit. Like, they do. White people love, as somebody responded to a Twitter message I posted today, white people love to solve problems that they create. Good. Well, could you fix this one? Because it's been going on a long ass time. Like, this is not a fake problem. This is a real problem. You fucking created this shit. So if you could work on it, that'd be great. But no, it's not all of them. But it is a majority of them. And white people, and it is happening more and more often, which I am happy to say, but it's not enough. White people call white people out now. Right? Like, they do. They're like, yo, what the fuck is your problem? Right? They do. And they should. But we should not take our foot off the pedal in trying to get that progress and trying to call out bad actors. 57% of these white women who voted for this guy, well, guess what? I don't want to hear you bitching when your kid gets COVID in Virginia. If you voted for this asshole, right? This guy is like, no more mask mandates, no more vaccine mandates. He's done with that shit. Like, that's a wrap. Okay. All right, you voted for him. I don't want to hear nothing from you. Oh, my son's sick. This is what you wanted. Because you're so fucking scared that maybe, just maybe, they might teach your dumb fuck kid at some point, if they get into law school, they probably won't, but if they do, that they might just teach them that the disparity between powder cocaine and crack cocaine is weirdly different for no fucking reason, right? Except for because race. That's it, right? Like, you want to understand what CRT is. You want to understand what critical race theory is. It's looking at laws and looking at them and how they are set in opposition of each other depending on race in this country, right? The law is literally used differently between black people and white people. That's a fact. It's a fact. There's no what is the reason between prosecuting people with powder cocaine and crack cocaine differently? There's only one reason.
Right.
Poor people use crack tend to be black and brown, and richer white people use cocaine. It's a fact. It's a fact. It's the only reason. Hey, don't do drugs, but like, we're gonna get you. You're in trouble, but you're not as in trouble as you are if you did crack because you're poor and you're black. Like, that's the reality. That's what CRT is. Like, so if you're wondering what is it, it's not that fucking hard. One, you can Google it, right? You can really look it up, but that's a prime example of the laws that are different between black people and white people in this country, right? So you scare these white people into believing that, oh my God, one day they're going to be a minority, and it's really telling. They might treat us like we treated them, and they don't want that shit, right? So they're like, we got to stop teaching this shit right now. It's a fact, right? Like, white people are super easy to scare, by the way. Like, they are. And I don't even mean like walking down the street and being like, like, they're also easy to scare that way too. But they're easy to scare. All you got to do is say, we're going to treat you like you treated those other people. And they be like, oh shit, stop. No. They are well aware of how, like, when white people go, but black people are treated fine in this country. Cool. You want to trade places with a black person? Fuck no. Yeah, why not? If it's even, why not? They're well aware of how we are treated. They're well aware. But they don't want to admit that shit because deep down in their fucking heart, they don't want to be treated like that. Hell no. That's why they don't want to. That's why they want to stay on top.
What is it about white people that think that they are going to be erased, right? Because you mentioned how easy it is to scare them based on like the idea of, well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right?
Right.
But it even breaks down into things like who is being cast in a comic book movie, right? Like, oh, well, you cast this deaf black woman to play this character who was traditionally a white man, and let's review bomb this. Right? Like, I don't understand. Like white people, y'all not going nowhere, yo. Like, is that one of the reasons? Well, no, that's not one of the reasons why you care about abortion. But y'all not going nowhere.
No,
you're not.
No, that is one of the reasons they care about abortion.
Not one of the major reasons, right? I get it, right? Like, they don't want white people don't want to be white people want white people to breed, right?
Yeah.
And we got to keep our numbers up, right? Like,
yeah. Quite literally.
No, I get it. But I think that's like number two. Number one is control, right? Like,
oh yeah, okay, like, that's fair.
Having a baby is the one thing that a woman can do that a man can't, and a man has to be able to regulate that shit. Right?
Like how do we get in charge of this shit?
But I'm still in charge, though. I mean, you doing all that, but I'm still in charge, though. So
right, that's basically
like that's the number one reason.
Yeah, that's just sexism.
But,
it's just general sexism.
Right. Like that's something that white women like. Hey, let's all come together.
Yeah, but like, nah. Are we friends now? No, we ain't friends no more. Nah, fuck out of here. Yeah, I don't think I will ever understand the idea of being terrified of progress. Progress is one of the things that is inevitable. It's like Thanos, right? Like it's fucking inevitable. You cannot stop it. All you can do is hope to contain it, right? Like, oh, we got to stop these changing laws, and we got to stop these people from getting married. We got to stop conservatives have lost on all of those things, right? Like I know liberals often like, and I count myself as a very progressive person, right? I am not just center left. I wouldn't say on the far crazy part of the left. Like I'm not vegan. I know it's crazy, right?
When I hear progressive, I think crazy left.
Okay, but
I know what you mean, but
right.
That's what I think.
Right, but I would say I'm like, if I had to equate myself to a particular like progressive politician, I'm an Elizabeth Warren progressive, right? Like I think that capitalism is fine, but I think we should kick the shit out of billionaires because they don't pay taxes, right? Like I'm fine.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I just want you to pay your taxes.
Just pay your taxes.
Make as much money. You can legally make as much money as you possibly can. That's why people come to America. Just pay your fucking taxes.
Right. I'm not one of these, like, I don't think billionaires should exist. Look, you can be a trillionaire if you want. Just pay your fucking taxes. Like, I don't give a shit. Right? Like, I don't care. As long as you're not, like, doing anything illegal. Look, if you want to build Amazon, that's fine. I'm not mad at Jeff Bezos, except for like this asshole doesn't pay taxes, and then he's like going up in rocket ships. Fuck that guy. Pay your fucking taxes. Like it's not that hard. So, and I think you should pay exponentially more than most people, which is fine. So, so I'm more of an Elizabeth Warren like side of the spectrum. But what I would say is like this idea that we don't. Like, you know, how do we get these people on board with progress and stuff like that? I don't think you can. These people are fucking stupid and they're stubborn and they don't believe in progress. Like they legitimately don't believe in progress, right? They believe in it for themselves, but they don't believe in it for anyone else. These 57% of white women who voted for Youngkin, I'm sure if you ask them, should women be treated equally in the workplace? Should women make the same amount as men? And all this other, they would say absolutely. Like the large percentage of them would say absolutely. There'd be like the nutters who were like, I don't think a woman should be president. It's hard for women because periods, right? Like it would be like, there'd be some nutbags, okay? Like I agree with that. Like those people really exist. They went to Dallas and showed up for JFK Jr. the other day, right? These people were nuts. Those kind of lunatics exist. But I think the vast majority of those white women would be like, yes, of course, I think women should be treated equally. However, when you start to dig in, well, should these other people be treated equally? Oh, well, okay, let me rattle off the fucking excuses, right? So
they don't even think about people that don't look like that.
I think actually you're probably right. You're probably right.
That's the thing. Like that's the luxury that they have in life is that they don't even, when they think women, they don't think
they think white women only.
Asian women. Right. They don't even think about it. And it'll be some shit like, well, I mean, I'm not a bigot or anything. I just don't think that other people are right about anything. Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
they don't even think about it.
Yeah. I find that to be an interesting perspective, I would say. To me, it mostly comes from the idea that they have been, as we've talked about, they have been on the right hand. They've been at the right hand of white men for so long. And white men have controlled this country for so long, and they have been sitting by their side, controlling shit too. And then white men are like, yeah, and you ain't shit either. And they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I thought we were friends. And then they're like, okay, well, we need to fix this. And now they want that progress, but they're not willing to extend that progress across other people, to racial minorities, to other women who are minorities. Like, they don't give a shit about that, right? I got mine, so fuck you kind of attitude. And I just can't abide that personally. Like, I think that's really a scumbag perspective. So, yeah, I don't know what we do besides wait for these people to die. Honestly, hope it comes sooner rather than later. I don't know. Like these people are basically fucking worthless as far as I'm concerned. They really are. They're worthless.
The problem is, right? Like there is a way to go about this. To talk to people, right? You have to talk to them. Two, you can't talk down to them. Like that's what we do on our side, right? We talk down to people all the time.
Yes.
And people know when they're being talked down to.
Yeah, they do.
And even if you don't like, even if it's unconscious, you got to watch how you talk to people. And you have to, unfortunately, you have to equate, you have to try and get them to empathize, right? Like, you have to try to get them to, you have to use examples regarding them, right? And this is for most people, right? But I'm specifically talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can convince them to empathize, then you have to just kind of hope that they follow through. And the problem is that we live in a society now where unless you are bombarding people with those ideas and those thoughts, they'll just gravitate right back to where they get scared of change, right? Everybody fears change, especially when you get older. They'll gravitate back to their comfort zone, and they'll see, Tucker Carlson or Sean Hannity or whomever telling them that no, you're right. And because it's coming from someone who is not you, like a celebrity,
right,
so to speak, right? Like it holds more weight. I'll never understand that, right? Like how the TV can say something and it holds more weight than the person that you've known, that you like have broken bread with. But there's a way to do it. The problem is like that last step, that last follow through. And I don't know how you get there.
Yeah, I honestly I don't know. I don't know how to convince, like, and I'm not trying to say this to be mean. Like, it's gonna set.
Okay, here comes some religious bashing.
No, it honestly isn't religion. But I mean, if I could work it in, I would. No, but in all seriousness, every episode. No, but I don't mean this to sound mean. I mean this quite honestly. I don't know how to convince people to have human empathy when they don't. Right? Like, I don't know how, besides to like shake you and be like, "Wake up, white woman! God damn it!" Like, I don't know how. I honestly don't. Like, I like to think about these things. I really try to like contemplate like what are methods that you can use to get people to get in a progressive mindset. And I don't know that there are if there is a way to shake white women shake them out of complacency, I guess is the right term. You know what, actually, I think my only idea really, as I say this, is you have to use the only weapon that we have. Other white women. That's it. Like, you just have to get other white women to just be like, "Bitch, what are you doing?" What are you doing? Like, I feel like that's it. You got to convince other white women to convince, like, we got to use our white women on the liberal side or on the progressive side to pull conservative white women to their side. Because they can't be minorities. Like, they don't listen to us. Because they don't see themselves as connected to us. And look, I will use that point to address something someone said in the comments of our Dave Chappelle episode. I mentioned that the reason why I think gay folks and folks of the LGBT community have made progress so much faster in the eyes of white people or in the eyes of American society faster than black people is because they are born into families. And black people are not. And some black dude took like super offensive that as if that was an anti-black statement. I'm like, one, it's not an anti-black statement. It's just like a statement of fact. Like, black people aren't just like born out, like just randomly born to two white people. That doesn't work like that. I don't know if you've ever seen how babies are made. But I will use that example. I will use this example as that. Like, white people don't see themselves as connected to black people in any real way overall in this country. Even white people who I think are good-natured white people, right? They don't see themselves as like directly connected until they have friends, like friends or married in family who are black. right? They don't see themselves as connected to us, right? Because of that. And look, black people don't see themselves connected to white people in that same way either, right? Like, they just don't, right? Because of just the history of America. White women who are more liberally minded or center left or further left are the only other people who can get to other white women and go, what the fuck are you doing? Because those are the only women who have connection to them. That's it. But sadly, I have to then go back to what you always say, which is white people don't really fuck with other white people like that.
They don't, dude.
They don't.
They really don't. Like,
so I think we're fucked.
They don't empathize with their own because they've never had to. They've never had to have this, community, feeling. Like, sure, like Irish people, like, empathize with other Irish people. Italians love other Italian people, right? Like, they look out for them. But, like, just your regular run-of-the-mill, like, white person, they don't really... They've never had to have that sort of community. Yeah. I guarantee you, if you were listening to the news and you heard that someone had committed a crime, something egregious, I guarantee you, at some point you thought, please don't be black.
100%. 100%.
White people, I guarantee you, no white person has ever said, oh my God, there's a mass shooting, please don't be white. Oh my God, someone robbed a store, please don't be white. Like, they don't have to think about stuff like that.
Right.
I wish I didn't have to think of shit. I'm jealous.
Yeah.
I wish I didn't have to think of shit like that. But I do. Yep,
absolutely. Constantly.
Look, I agree with you. I agree with you that it's gonna take people. It's gonna take communication, right? Like, if you want people to have a progressive mindset, it's gonna take the left-leaning people to have open and honest dialogue, which no one likes to do.
Right.
And there's a certain amount of trust that's got to be there. I only fear that, let's say in your example, you do have that open and honest dialogue. Like, who's to say they don't just go home and talk to their husbands, and the husband's just like, nope, you're not doing that. You stand right here, next to me and do what I tell you.
Right.
The only other thing I think that can reach people is religion. And even then,
all right, let's go. All right, here we go. No, I'm kidding.
And even then, like, as much as that book talks about, like, treating people fair and providing for the meek and looking out for your fellow man, like, nobody does it.
Nah, B.
Nobody does it.
We're not doing that. That's lame. And who does that shit? Get out of
here. So if people don't if people don't look out for their own fellow human being, right? Like John Oliver had this thing on homelessness on his show.
Right.
Very good as always. It's homelessness in California, right? And they had these people, and they were like, one woman, she was there, and she was like, I consider myself a very liberal person. But every time I have to pick up a piece of human shit, my liberalism falls down a bit.
I get it. And I get it.
I get it. But at the same time, like, you can't have that. It's hard, but you can't have that mentality.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Look, this is the great frustrating thing about progress, right? This is the great frustrating thing about equality arguments and politics is there are generally no easy answers, right? Except for, like, sort of on the extreme, like, nutty things. Like, don't do that. But it's one of the things that is really quite telling is that we live in a time where we are still making the argument of, hey, I don't know, man, maybe teaching history is not so bad, right? You literally scared white people into voting for a Trump guy by just saying, hey, they're going to like, they might teach your kids history. And people just freak the fuck out.
That's
wild to me.
I don't think you get, you haven't, I live close to Virginia, so I've been inundated with attack ads, right? And Glenn Youngkin has an attack ad out where where it's Terry McAuliffe in a town hall debate, and they take an out of context clip that says where McAuliffe is saying, "I don't think parents should have a say in what teachers teach their students." And he's running with that like, oh, you see, he doesn't think that you're smart. That he doesn't think that you should have a say in your kid's education. And that shit is like, so they're going to teach you critical race theory. And critical race theory is just people teaching you that white people are the cause for all the ills in the world. They are. And
right, like
it's
I love that part. Like they're just teaching you that white people were racist and really mean when this country started. You go, what? Yeah, no, that was the thing that happened. Like that, it's for real,
and it works, and it worked.
It worked. It does work. I am
man. It's so
again.
funny.
I am forever amazed at how easy it is to scare white people. I wish that we had an ability to do that when it comes to, I don't know, the planet being on fire. Somehow that doesn't resonate with white people. I don't understand, right? Or with these particular white people. Like, the planet is on fire. If we would stop treating each other like dog shit, we could actually have a country where everybody is making incredible societal gains, right? Like, none of that shit ever works. Just boogeyman type of shit, Candyman, like that's all they're afraid of, and it's so fucking weird to me. The only thing I can think of is white people as a large group, as someone once said, and I think it's absolutely true. They don't have any natural predators. Right? So they're just scared of like random wackadoo shit. Like they're not scared of real shit. Hey, climate change will kill everybody, and this is a horrible thing. They're like, nah, that's not real. They might teach your kids about history. Oh, fuck that. Let's go, baby. Like they get super charged up for the dumb shit. So yeah,
they might teach your kids. They might teach your kids history, but then at the same time get mad when all those goddamn Confederate soldiers statues get taken down. Like
none of it makes.
I thought
sense.
you wanted us to teach. I thought you wanted people to know about history.
Well, not that. I mean, not that history. Scary. Like, I don't want to teach my kids that. That's terrifying. But that's what it comes down to, right? Like this, what I would argue, very silly idea of what America is, and it's a rather silly idea. And I think white people look really pathetic when they take the bait on this shit. I do, and I don't say that just because Terry McAuliffe absolutely would have been a better choice for governor. And you could say like, no, Terry McAuliffe sucked. Okay, I'll take that, but Youngkin is definitely worse, right? Like people are gonna pay with their lives for you guys voting this fucking moron in Virginia. They are literally going to pay with their lives. But you know what? I don't like to do a dude I told you, but I will.
But it doesn't. But
it don't do anything.
Matter.
You'll be dead.
It's not my life. It doesn't. It's not my life.
No, look, my family who lives in Virginia, they're all vaxxed to the gills, man. Like, good luck with all that. Good luck.
That's the mentality, right? Like it doesn't affect me because I voted for him because ain't nothing gonna happen to me, right?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Man. Like you said, it's lack of empathy. I like to think that we're fair and balanced. We talked about how about the things that it's easy to scare white people, and we talked about the things that scare them and how easy it is to do so. It's also very easy to scare black people.
100%.
We just get scared by magic tricks.
No, that's true.
You ever see You ever see black people just react to magic? Go on YouTube right now and just like black people react to magic, and I guarantee you somebody will be sprinting away from the fucking street.
That's true. That's true. Black people are terrified of magic. For some reason, we believe it's real. It's not. And white people are terrified of reality. It's really funny. Like that is the point difference between black people and white people. Like equally, both are dumb, right? Black people are afraid of something that is not real. Like they get so excited that they're terrified of it. White people are terrified of real things that are not scary. How do we not get along? That's my problem. We're both ridiculous in the extremes. We're both equally as ridiculous. We're ridiculous in different ways. Black people drive like this. White people drive like this. You know, like it's not that different. Come on, we all have our thing. That's really funny. Black people are scared of magic. It's true. It's true.
We are.
Yeah, we are. We're terrified of that shit. Like, we're afraid David Blaine's gonna put.
Start running away like Kermit the Frog and shit.
Right, like
flailing your arms around.
We're afraid that David Blaine is going to put a root on us. Like, I got to get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't trust this guy. So yeah, it's weird. Like, we're afraid of fictional things, and white people are afraid of reality. That's how. But you know, to be fair, that's how fucked up black people's real lives are. We're not afraid of that shit. Like it sucks, and we deal with it. We're not afraid of it. We've seen it.
We endure.
We endure it. White people.
We synced it.
We synced it. All right. SEEN''T. Right. Of course. We deal with real life and we endure it. White people don't have to deal with none of the real shit 90% of the time. And then when they're faced with the real shit, they get terrified. What I propose is that we live in each other's shoes for 1 year. White people, terrified of magic, have to deal with reality. Black people, we just get to watch magic.
What I propose is that we get magicians to talk about climate change.
That's not bad. Didn't David Blaine get locked in a block of ice once or some shit? He's the perfect person. Get David Copperfield to come down. I don't know, one of those guys. So there you go. I once saw, what was it? Was it David Copperfield or one of those other magicians in Vegas? It was one of the worst shows I've ever seen. It was horrible. It was really, really bad. He made a Corvette fly. It was not impressive. It's really bad. All right. I think that's it for us and our views on critical race theory and why white people are so scared. And if you listen to the whole thing, you find out why black people are scared, what black people are afraid of. And it's absolutely true. All right. I don't know why. All right. That's it for us. We'll be back with episode 210, The Harder They Fall, next week.
See ya.
Bye. You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.